Welcome to my podcast. Getting old sucks, especially when compounded with MS. For those of you who don't know what MS is, it's multiple sclerosis, a neurological disease, often called the snowflake disease because it's different for everybody who has it. There are three types: recurring remitting MS. You get these neurological attacks and then they go away and then they come back and they go away. This can happen over weeks, months, years. Um, there is secondary progressive MS, which is what I have. The attacks occur and don't go away, and then you get another attack, which sort of builds on whatever symptom you have, and then another. If you're lucky, it happens slowly over time. And then there's primary progressive MS, which puts you in a scooter, then a wheelchair. Uh, you could lose the ability to move your arms. You might actually feel okay. Not everybody with primary progressive MS feels okay, but you might feel okay, but you're losing your ability to use your legs and your arms. MS can attack cognitive functions, brain farts or brain fog, as it's called. Like I say, it's a snowflake disease. It's different for everybody who has it. So getting old is kind of bad enough, but when you have a neurological disease like MS, it really, really sucks. You see, I feel like I'm being cheated out of my old age. I don't know what it's supposed to feel like to get older because I'm dealing with this thing called MS. Now, normally when I do my video blogs and podcasts, I have a PowerPoint presentation to keep me on track. They let me know what I'm going to be talking about, and they let the viewers know what I'm talking about. They can read the PowerPoints and listen to me. But in this one, I'm just kind of free falling. I don't have a PowerPoint presentation. I, in fact, don't know what I'm going to say, other than I'm going to say getting old sucks, especially when compounded with MS. I guess what I'd like to do is, excuse me as I disappear for a second, is to show you my website. I had to disappear. Never mind, I don't have to tell you about my technological setup to record these webinars and podcasts. My name is Paul Lima. I'm a Toronto based writing trainer and freelance business and promotional writer. At least I was. See, I used to train in person. I'd go in, do half day, full day, 2 day webinars, teach courses for the University of Toronto, George Brown College. Can't do that anymore. I can do this webinar, but I'm sitting on my butt in front of my computer, and maybe this will last, I don't know, 20, 30 minutes. We'll see. But I can't go into a classroom and stand there, never mind for a half day, 2 or 3 hours. I don't think I can do it for 10 or 15 minutes. Now, is that because I'm getting older? I'm 65, or is that because I have MS? People I know who are my age, they could do it, unless they're suffering from some kind of illness. They could teach if they were teachers or train if they were trainers. In other words, they have much more energy, much more stability than I have. Also, with freelance writings, freelance writing, you have to, if you're writing for clients, you have to attend meetings. Or if you're interviewing people, you have to go and meet them. Uh, Not something I can do, but I still have a website and I try to sell my business training webinars. I've got a 5 lecture Udemy email writing webinar. So if you went to paullima.com, for the podcast listeners, that's PAULLIMA.com, you could click on my Udemy email writing webinar. It's 5 lectures. I think it's 20, $25. I do one-on-one Skype and phone training. I've uploaded a series of pay what you can writing webinars. Also some free video blogs and podcasts on business promotional and book writing, business and freelance writing, and of course, MS. I teach some online e-courses by email. Now, I say I still do freelance writing. I haven't written for anybody for a couple of years. It's on my website. If somebody emails me and says, "Can you write this for me?" and I can't, I pass it on to a fellow writer. Uh, I do edit and format books. I have self-published 22 books. And if you have a book in you that you want to get out using print on demand, a print book, or an ebook, selling it through Amazon Chapters or other online book retailers, then I can help you do it. And of course, I sell my books on writing, variety of books. If you went to my website, you could look at my promotional book video trailer that talks about the 20 books I have, mostly on writing. But I also have my autobiography, The Accidental Writer, a memoir, not autobiography. Uh, and I have a book on writing memoirs and autobiographies. I have a book on me and my MS and me. I have a book called Everything You Wanted to Know About Freelance Writing, but I also have one called Everything You Need to Know About Multiple Sclerosis. And in fact, I'm giving away free PDFs of that book. If you go to paullima.com/books, you can find out how to get a free PDF of the book. In fact, why don't I tell you since I can click on my own links? And for those of you watching the video blog, you can see if you send an email with the subject line MSPDF to msandmebook@gmail.com. That's msandmebook@gmail.com. Subject line MSPDF. I will send you a free PDF of the book. It is I was a journalist, and this is a research book. Doesn't sell any snake oil. There is no cure for MS, but you can see the what's in the book, the introduction, what is MS, type of MS, why is MS, the first inklings of MS, doctors and diagnosis, symptoms, medication, marijuana. Should you smoke it? Can that help you? MRIs, living with MS, life hacks in MS, exercise, diet, depression, communicating. I give a chapter to healthy partners of MS warriors. They have their say. Sex and pregnancy, chapter on MS and me, my 22 years of experience. Um, chapter where two other MS warriors have written the chapters. Missing Aspects of Life, MS is Not a Death Sentence, and the epilogue. And there's a list of online MS resources. So if you have MS, know somebody with MS, want to know something about MS, and want the free PDF, you can buy the print book, the Kindle, or the Kobo, which is an EPUB. I can't afford to give those away, but I can afford to give away the PDF. Email msandmebook@gmail.com, and I will happily send you a free PDF of the book, Everything You Need to Know About MS. But this webinar is supposed to be about getting old sucks. See, I don't have a PowerPoint and I'm all over the place. The fact is, as we get older, we break down physically, we break down mentally. Now, it happens at a different pace for everybody. So there are some vital old people. I have an 80-year-old friend through dog walking. Great sense of humor, always telling jokes, loves to dine out. I envy him. He is more vital, more energetic than I am, but he doesn't have MS. He has no illnesses, and I would not wish MS or any illness on him. I'm just saying, as we break down physically and mentally, if we have a neurological disorder, I have MS, so that's what I talk about. There are many others that compounds the aging process. I don't know what it's like to get older. I have friends, I have a partner who are getting older, aging along with me. They seem very vital. Do they have aches and pains? Yes, but they don't have MS, they don't have a chronic disease. And I look at them with envy. And envy can be a healthy emotion. Again, I wouldn't wish illness upon them for a second, but I wonder what they feel like what's going on up here. And I say up here because with my secondary progressive MS now, I have, I'm going to say chronic headaches, but to pluralize the word is a misnomer because 5 years ago I came down with a headache. It was so intense on a scale of 1 to 10, it was a 20. Knocked me on my butt, knocked me into the emergency at the local hospital. It's now settled down to, maybe a 6 or 7. It's not gone away in 5 years. I am on a medication, and I should know the name of it, but I don't. It's an injectable medication. The MS clinic at Women's College Hospital in Toronto, where I live, this is what they prescribed. Um, Once a month for 3 or 4 months, I'll be injecting this medication. And the doctor was very upfront with me. He said, if you have a persistent migraine, this medication should help. But if you have a new daily persistent headache, and you can Google that, new daily persistent headache, uh, maybe you'll get 10, 20, 30% relief and maybe nothing. So I've done 2 injections. I'm supposed to do 2 more, and we shall see if it helps this headache go away. The headache causes some balance issues, compounded by the fact that I have some pain in my legs and burning sensation in my feet. Now, I don't have primary progressive MS. I don't need a scooter. I'm not in a wheelchair. I do use a cane when I walk, but we have a dog, and I am able to walk the dog once and very often twice a day. Why twice a day? Why doesn't my wife walk the dog? Well, you see, she's busy picking up the slack of all the stuff I can't do around the house. Now, I have to be honest with you, I was not a very domestic person to begin with, but I could do some stuff. And now she has to do all of it. And she understands what I'm dealing with. And she's picking up the slack. So I can walk the dog. I have to sit maybe every 20 or 30 minutes, sit for 5 minutes or so, and then I can carry on. But I am doing what I can do. If you were to go to my website, and you'll have to excuse me for a minute, um, and look at, if you go to paullima.com/ms, you will see when I say I can do what I can do these webinars and video blogs. First one I did was almost everything you need to know about MS, kind of like the book. Second one was me and my MS, more focused on me, though I talk about the types of MS as well. MS and nothingness. And I confess that the third video blog, partway through, I just lost it. I decided not to cut my losing it, so it's in there. If you don't want to see a sick man blubber, skip the video. But if you want to see how a sick man makes something of his illness, watch it. Watch through the blubbering. The emotional evolution of an MS warrior. I felt I had to do that one after losing it. Just to let you know, when I first had MS, I was angry, I was depressed. I've moved through that. Do I have my days when I get angry? Yes. Do I have my days when you might say I'm depressed? Yes. but I have evolved emotionally. Now, I'd rather not have to have evolved emotionally. In other words, I'd rather not have MS, but I have evolved emotionally in dealing with it. Assisted suicide, are you for it or against it? Spoiler alert, I'm for it. I just can't imagine the day when my MS has me to the point where I am not in the least vital. I can't do anything, say anything, think anything. I'm sorry, like I want a doctor to help me die. Anyway, assisted suicide, I talk more about that. And that one is also available as a podcast. So I do what I can do. I've been a writer and a trainer almost my entire working life, really my whole working life. I mean, early on, when I was at university, I was a bartender, left university, got a job as an advertising copywriter. Even then, even though I've worked in educational administration, my job involved a lot of writing. I became a continuing education teacher. So this is something, writing and training, something I've been doing for like 40 years. So what I feel I'm doing now is writing these podcasts and training people. Um, like I say, I've got pay what you can webinars, tell your story, how to write memoirs and autobiography, how to do what you want to do and figure out what it is you want to do. This is like me. I have to write these training video blogs. And then this is me training people who want to learn stuff that I know. How to find corporate work as a freelance writer, editor, trainer, etc. How to become an effective and efficient email writer. How to write effectively and efficiently about any topic. How to write nonfiction book in 60 days webinar. So I do what I can do while dealing with getting older and while dealing with my MS. In other words, I can work in short bursts as I am doing now. But you give me 30 minutes talking to you about getting older, getting old, and how it sucks. Then I have to go sit on the couch, maybe play with my tablet, maybe close my eyes and fall asleep. It's not fun having a perpetual headache and being perpetually tired. I actually look forward to walking the dog because it's something I can do, even though I need to sit down and recharge my batteries while walking him. And he sits patiently, or he lies down and licks himself and does whatever dogs do. And then we get up and carry on. We try to go to Dog Hill in High Park in Toronto, or the dog park at Sorauren Park. I live in between the two off-leash areas, so I let our dog Quinn have his play, and I get my walk in. We're out for an hour and a half, 2 hours, sometimes even more. And I feel like that helps energize me. It's something that I can do. I mean, what's the alternative? Sit on my ass on the couch all day? Now, I watch good TV, read good books, okay, and some not so good books. Sometimes I don't have the energy to get into a really good book. I mean, I do that, but basically, watching TV, watching movies, and reading involve just sitting there. And I sit there on the couch and sometimes I fall asleep. So walking the dog makes me feel like I have some vitality in me, even though getting old sucks. It's interesting. In China, I believe, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, a lot of the leaders are in their 70s and 80s. So you might say getting old doesn't seem to suck for them. And I think that's great. You know, they don't have MS, they don't have other chronic illnesses. Or if they do, they're pretty amazing people if they're working through it and leading a country of a billion people. I think in Canada, our prime minister is in his 40s. Now, he sucks for other reasons. That's Justin Trudeau. And hey, before you think this is a Canadian conservative knocking a Canadian liberal leader, it's not the case. I am a small L liberal. I just think that Justin, I don't know, is not delivering on his promises. He seems to be too into taking selfies. He says things. Anyway, I'm digressing. You see, I don't have a PowerPoint to keep me focused. This is not supposed to be a political video. This is all about getting old. And so, and I know there are some Western leaders. Oh, how old is Trump now? Okay, he sucks for some other reasons, and nothing to do with age, or maybe it's something to do with age. I mean, does he have dementia? You know, it seems like he does. President Ronald Reagan in the US evidently had Alzheimer's for most of his last term in his office. From what you read, his wife Nancy basically ran the country. Um, so getting old does things to you physically, mentally, emotionally. And when you compound it with something like MS, I feel like I'm being cheated out of the experience of getting older. Now, hey, I know some people don't live long enough to get older. My niece died at the age of 44, 45. She had two kids, both under the age of 5. Sad, tragic, awful. So I'm still alive and I can do things like I'm doing now. I am thankful for that. Trust me. It doesn't mean I have to like what I'm dealing with. So I suppose, even though I say getting old sucks, especially when compounded with MS, if there was a silver lining to this video blog, it would be if you're dealing with age and it's compounded by an illness or disease, it's still up to you to make the most of your life any way you can. It's up to you to live a life that's as full as you can make it. A friend of mine, Mick, had primary progressive MS, was in a wheelchair. We would go to an MS support group meeting every couple of weeks. We'd leave the meeting. Now, we lived in the same direction from where the meeting was held, but Mick would always head off on a different direction. So I didn't walk home with him. I'd say, and it became a bit of a joke, "Where are you going, Mick?" He'd say, "To the beer store." So he would go buy his six pack. And Mick was not a drunk. He would not drink all 6 beers a night, but he could still enjoy a beer, and he could go to the beer store and he could buy his beer. Mick had an expression, and if you'll excuse my 4-letter word, this is the only swear word I will use in this video. Mick used to say, "Fuck MS," and he meant it. He'd say it at the group and we'd all cheer. Don't let MS or whatever illness or age get you down or stop you until it stops you cold. And I know there will come a day when I will have no energy, no vitality. I wouldn't even be able to record a podcast like this. I will be lying flat on my back or sitting in a wheelchair. Come that day, I don't know what I'm going to do. And I'm being painfully honest with people. If I can think, if I can talk, if I can enjoy good food, yes, I will go on. I did some work at a hospital. I was training some patients at this chronic care wing how to work a computer, how to create a newsletter, and they created a newsletter for the wing, which I got to deliver. And I would go into rooms, and there were people lying in bed, family around them. The people in bed were not conscious of the fact that anybody was there. Nurses would come in twice a day and flip them over so that they wouldn't develop bed sores to help minimize their bed sores. I'm sorry, I don't want that to be me. I know there are some people who would say you have to live as long as you can live. You cannot take your life. You cannot get assistance in dying. I'm not one of those people. If I have nothing, then I want nothing. Getting old may suck, especially when compounded with MS or any disease or illness. So, as I've said, it's up to you to find the aspect of aging and the aspect of your disease or illness that does not suck. For me, it's been writing books, creating these video blogs and podcasts. In short, I'm doing what I can do. Would I like to do more? Yes. Can I do more? No. Will I do less over time? Yes. And that sucks. But I guess what I'm saying is I'm going to continue to do what I can do for as long as I can do it. I mean, what's the alternative? If you have an alternative suggestion, feel free to email me, Paul Lima, PAULLIMA.com, paullima.com at gmail.com. What is the alternative? And perhaps that is not a rhetorical question. Perhaps it's an existential question. What's the alternative to getting old? If you're sick, what's the alternative to have your disease progress? I mean, we know we're all heading for death, if I can be so blunt. I'm not saying enjoy the journey to death. It's not something we want to look forward to in any way, shape, or form, but it's something we're all going to face. And I think my MS has simply made me more aware of that. It's put me into a kind of hyper vigilant state. I can enjoy good food. I can enjoy a good read. I can enjoy good TV. I can enjoy making a podcast or video blog. I can enjoy the feedback I get. But it feels like my enjoyment has been nipped in the bud. I was a writer trainer for a long, long time. And I went after writing gigs and training gigs with a great deal of energy and enthusiasm. I don't have that energy anymore. I'm doing this because I can do it, but it feels like the enthusiasm has been nipped in the bud. Again, I say, what's the alternative? Not do it. Go sit on the couch and do nothing until I reach the end. That's not me. And I would suggest that shouldn't be you either. So we all have to dig deep as we get older. And if we're dealing with a disease, we have to dig deep to do what we can do. Again, if you know an alternative, feel free to email me and let me know. If I get enough comments, I'll create another video blog podcast that's titled Getting Old Doesn't Suck. This is what people have to say, why it doesn't suck. But just because it sucks doesn't mean you have to let go until life is ripped from you. So I guess what I'm saying, my bottom line is, yes, getting old sucks. Yes, I have MS, which compounds the suckiness of it all. But I'm holding on to life as best I know how, in the only way I know how. That's what I'm doing with all that I'm faced with. And so I am thankful that I am able to do that. And I will continue to do that for as long as I can. But right now, what I have to do is go walk my dog, feel the air on my face, watch him play with other dogs. God, it makes me feel so good seeing how happy he gets as he romps and he plays. Yeah, it sort of makes me feel reminiscent too. I feel like I used to romp and play. I don't anymore. But maybe vicariously, I'm living my life through my dog. So if you're getting older and getting sick, if you can get a dog, I would highly recommend it. Look into it. They take a lot of work, a lot of energy. They need to be fed. They need to be walked. They need to be loved. So if you can get one, a dog can supplement your life as it is diminishing, deteriorating. You can live vicariously through your dog. And my child, I watch Kaya. She's a member of Second City now. She does some stand-up comedy, does some improv, and gets on the Second City stage. I haven't seen her perform live. I don't have the energy to go to the performances. Got a couple videos of her performing. I watch her again with envy and a bit of jealousy. And these are not bad emotions because I'm rooting for her. I mean, I wish I was that young and vital, that I could be doing what I want it to do the way Kaya's doing what Kaya wants to do. But Kaya has my full support. They're out there doing what they want to do. They're out there making things happen. And I guess in my small way, I'm still making something happen. I don't know, maybe I should have had a PowerPoint for this. I feel like I've been all over the map. I don't really know how to end it. So I guess I'll just say getting old sucks, especially when compounded with MS, but that doesn't mean you have to let go of life. Hold on to it for as long as you can. Do what you can do. And again, if you have alternatives, if you have comments, let me know. paullima@gmail.com. I would love to hear from you. Why? A, I would like to share what people say, but B, it makes me feel good. So if you want to make an old sick man feel good, give him some feedback. He'll read your email, he'll reply to your email. It's just kind of nice to know that you're getting old, that it sucks, that you have MS and that sucks, but that you're still touching some people some of the time. So thanks for listening to my video blog and to my podcast, Getting Old Sucks. Does it? Yeah, I think it does. Do you think it does? Let me know. Take care. Have a good one. Talk to you soon. Bye now.